if you find the next one, you call. Someone in this group, or this group in particular, will partner with you. We will make it happen, because taking advantage of the opportunities, if the numbers work, that's the game, and I'd rather have a piece of a pie somewhere than sit here and not have a piece in the game, because you have to keep your money working, and sitting in an account just waiting to do something,
you're losing money.
You could be, but you don't want to make a bad deal either. So again, if you have people that investors from across the world, across the states, wherever, that want to put their money to work, call us. We have deals that we can't take care of.
Welcome to the REI Partners Meetup. We're your hosts, Matt Morrow and Richard Clark. This is a place where knowledge is shared, friends collaborate, as we help each other to succeed in both our real estate and personal goals. We are a group of like-minded individuals from across the country who are here to help and support each other. Investors, realtors, entrepreneurs, and many others contribute to providing diverse and practical content for our events, especially our mentors who enjoy helping new and experienced investors in their journeys. Thanks for joining. We hope you enjoy the show and encourage you to bring others who may find value as we invest in our collective future.
Hey, Rich.
Recording. Yep. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, recording in progress.
Recording in progress. It's going great. Got an offer today on another property, so feeling good about that. And this is one that actually just fell through last week when the closing came and went, and the buyer defaulted by not providing all the information to the lender that they were supposed to. And so when the bank can't come to a disposition on whether or not to lend the money, that could lead to buyer default. You don't give the lender everything they need to know to send it to underwriting, and you have earnest money that's held in escrow. Well, that could result in you losing that money, and that's exactly what happened. So to the tune of a $3,000 learning experience.
Know what you're signing. That contract says it all right there.
Yeah. So anyway, the buyer signed the release, and my sellers are going to get, $3,000 from that debauched deal. And that was just this past Friday. And I got another offer on the property today. So, nice. It's a sweet, sweet thing. So, yeah.
It's good for your seller.
Absolutely.
This has been a busy month all around for everybody here, especially you, me, and a lot of the group members. And I know we haven't had a meetup in July, kind of by design. We knew things were going to get super busy, but we just want to touch base with everybody here today and throw some info out there and kind of regroup in terms of REI Partners, when we get something on the schedule for August, something cool and big to present to everybody. But
absolutely,
we're just going to jam out for a few minutes today, talk about the things we got going on in the economy, and hope it's valuable to everybody. So what else you got going on? What's on the top of your mind?
Well, I got lots going on, but let's talk a little bit about the market. And, I heard today, as of July 26th, that the Fed's looking at raising rates another 75 basis points. So, I think we're already in the late fives, early sixes in terms of financing these days. So, where do you think the market is at this point? I think it's softening. I think it's cooling a little bit, but I think that sales are still strong. Opportunities are still plentiful. It's just a matter of the buyers out there that are able to execute on some of these deals. And there's a lot of cash out there. So I think we still have a lot of opportunity to bring about opportunities for the investors to take advantage of. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. In our market, Eastern PA, specifically the Lehigh Valley, we've seen a huge change. Residential has had a massive change. You don't have the offer competition used to. There is some heated markets with regards to some of the properties and some of the municipalities that are highly sought after in this area. But, we have not seen the situations where highest and best is on every single listing.
Right.
7, 8
Right.
days on market. Now they're trending up. We're having a kind of a stagnation in price. It's not completely reversed yet, but there has been an overnight change in the last, I want to say, 45 days. We've seen things really, really slow down, and the interest rates are just one piece of that equation.
Right.
That takes your buying power away as a purchaser, whether it be for a single family or even for some of our investors. We're getting into multi-units right now. The interest rate is a function of if your cash flow is going to work and a piece of rental real estate. If it's a primary purchase, if the interest rate difference is going to price you out of the market, you're kind of close to your limit to begin with. So if the difference between a 4% interest and a 6% interest rate, which is where we're at right now, we're seeing 30-year fixed in the 6%. Some of these products with the balloon and the arms are all starting to come back now to get creative. But if you're that close with such a small interest rate change, you really should reconsider purchasing. But for an investor, like you talked, these guys, it's just another number in their equation. If it works,
Well,
that's the way
absolutely.
we're doing it, right?
A lot more buying down of the interest rate is happening. I think people are trying to offset the rate increases with buying down their rate. That's one strategy that can be used. I'm seeing a lot of the same things you're seeing out here in Western PA/Ohio area, and there's there was a deal that I just helped another agent through. I think it was Saturday. Saturday, $265,000 in a very sought after area. The buyer wanted to use it as an Airbnb type deal, and it hadn't even hit the market. And I referred it to one of my investors who actually has an agent out there that he'd been using for a number of years now. So, it was sold in like a day, and at asking. So you're right. I'm not seeing this competition for pricing. Now, I do think though that to offset the interest rate increases, we're seeing higher rental rates. So, from an investor standpoint, that interest rate increase is less impactful when you're getting premium dollars for the rents that are out there. So I think that's a good thing for investors. I think that, a couple of points difference between, say, 4%, which was, a year ago, and maybe 6% now, it's insignificant in terms of the long-term play when investors are wanting to, buy something and keep it for a number of years and allow that capital investment to grow.
Rent appreciation is real, especially out here. There is some significant rent appreciation going on in this part of the country. It's not limited like in the big cities. There's no rent control, not yet, but we are seeing single efficiency apartments for over $1,000 a month. 2-3-bedroom homes, easily close to $2,000 a month. It's getting to the point where renters are going to have a choice to make, and they're going to have to make it soon if they're buying or not. And it's going to stick with them for a long time because it's going to be tough to come back from. So I think you're going to see creative rental strategies from renter perspectives.
Absolutely.
Doubling up, housing, room rental. There's going to be lots of cool things that happen for people to be able to afford it. But you don't want to be that landlord that takes advantage of the high price point. You have to be the landlord who's taking care of the property and providing a decent place to live. But there are people, and we all know some, who's going to shoot for the top, hope for the stars, and somebody will pay it. But then when things shift, rents might change over time. You don't want to be stuck to that high dollar value. You got to make sure your basic numbers work. So
yeah. Well, I agree with that. I think that but then why be a landlord when you can come to REI Partners and let us handle everything, and you just put the coupons?
There you go. I mean, that's
nice. The whole idea, right? Capital investors out there looking to take advantage of a market like real estate, which is a solid market to be in. If you really want that long-term play, and you want a safe and secure asset class to invest in, real estate is the only way to go. Not the stock market, not bonds. Really, real estate is the place to be if you want to maximize that capital gain over a period of time. And you're right, landlords out there are going to have to deal with, they might get that premium dollar now for rents, but, inflation is causing compression on the buying power of those renters out there. They got to eat as well, and they have to put gas in the car, and they have to get to work. And if the rent's too high, they may be downsizing, or they might find themselves in a situation where they have to decide if buying is a potential for them. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next for the rest of this year, over the next few months. We still have a COVID crisis, as it were, as they're calling it. And, they got this thing now called monkeypox. It almost sounds humorous, monkeypox. I'm like, how did they come up with that name for a disease? But that's now on the radar. So how that affects us, I don't think we're going to have the lockdowns like we had before. But I think there may be some attempts at that in certain markets. But how that affects real estate, we really don't care. The more people that work from home, the better. I know that on my properties, and I think you're doing it on yours as well, is things like internet access is really more of a utility now. You got to offer that, and you just bundle that into the price of the rent that the renter would pay, just like electricity or water or any other utility, as it were. So yeah, I think that we are at the probably the peak of the market, and we're going to enter a downswing in that 4-cycle process, which makes it even better for investors. Still got to be careful about what you buy, when you buy it, and never overpay. Buy it right, and that long-term investment will give dividend returns through any recession that might take place. And I think we're going to have a recession. The Fed tends to overshoot in its raising of the rates, and before they realize that they overshot, the damage will be done, and then they'll start lowering them again at some point, but we don't know when that'll be. But during that time, it's up to people like you and I working with investors to ensure that they can weather whatever the market storms might be.
And there's a good description of that on one of our previous meetups from, I think, 3 or 4 months ago. If you log on and watch the video, the market cycles and signs of recession, it goes through extreme detail of all the different pieces on a macro level, not on an individual market level, but for the whole country and even the world in the whole.
Yeah,
lots of good information there. And I think you're absolutely right. Until the next big thing happens, you have COVID, you have recession, all these different things. There's always a next thing. And whether they're the same as it affects real estate or not, the one factor remains the same, that everyone needs a place to live. And that's why this investment is hard to beat. It's not foolproof. It's not in any way, shape, or form 100% safe like everything else. There's inherent risks to investing here like there are other places, but
we can manage that risk to reward.
You can manage it a lot more than other places. You're right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. With a little bit of help and education.
Yeah, I don't think rents are going to come down much over time. I think there may be a little bit of an adjustment, maybe marginal to some extent, but I think rents are actually where they probably should be. If you look back 10 years, rental increases haven't really occurred the way they should have over the last 10 to 15 years. So I think rents are probably where they should be at this point. Now, you can argue that inflation and other factors can play into that, and it certainly does. But I don't think you're going to see rents under $1,000 anymore in a city anywhere.
Not when you have taxes and utilities and everything skyrocketing.
Right.
It has to go with the flow, and unfortunately, people. And I was this way once, and you get educated and you get slammed on your face a few times, and you have to realize that in order for you to keep having the things that you need and the environment that you have, everything needs to continually appreciate. Having tax stagnation is not a good thing.
Right.
Everything needs to increase the same amount. And if you get a raise every year at the rate of inflation, which this year is a lot, but in the past 2 to 3% a year cost of living adjustment, you're not making money. You're keeping on par, and sometimes you're losing money. But if you want to do something that is not job related, you can control your essentially your future with real estate. So, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are starting to get into it, and it's a pretty competitive thing. But like you talked about the market and the deals, yes, things are leveling off. The playing field is getting back to even with the buyers and sellers residentially. Multifamily has always been a little bit different, and commercial is a whole different animal. But it's all about how you find deals and how you structure them, and if there's value to be added. Find something that's priced at the top of the market. Don't expect much premium. There are
Yeah.
people that do that, and then they just hope for appreciation. Or
Yeah.
you buy something that has value add or rent appreciation, and you make the value. But you always make your money in real estate when you buy a property.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, so we have single family residential, we have multifamily residential, we have mixed use, we have commercial, several different classes within the whole real estate paradigm that we can invest in. Single family is really the staple, I think, particularly for families, of course, being a decent school district, if there is such a thing, and having commutability to places of employment are all important. Multifamily, you talked a little bit about that. If you were a capital investor and you had a few $1,000,000 you wanted to put into the market, what sort of properties would you look at? Would you look at single family? Would you look at multifamily only? Would you look at mixed use residential? What about office commercial? Will that ever come back? Do you think that that's a place where you would put your money?
Solidly single and multifamily. Multifamily mixed use, so it would have to be market dependent, because mixed use implies that there's varying types of tenants on the property, or which can be a good diversification tool in itself. Commercial is kind of risky depending on what or where. And when you get bigger than that into development and vacant land, there's all these different angles. But I think you can almost never go wrong based on our experience and that of a lot of people that we work closely with. Single multifamily, even in apartment buildings with 20 to 100 units, somewhere in there, people are always going to need those places. So I think that would be essentially your anchor in your portfolio, should be those types of assets. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it, so of course I agree. Single family is of course the baseline, and then multifamily, the right kind of multifamily, and I would suggest that it be center of the market in terms of income stream. And what I mean by that is kind of like you have your Class B single family homes, which are your bread and butter, your lunch pail Joe, your blue collar / white collar type properties that people want to live in. And then you have that's versus the properties that will be more lower income, or to put it gently, growth based Section 8 type properties that are out there. I think those run a much higher risk in terms of especially administration. So, I would tend to want to stay away from those. But, it's not to say that there isn't some opportunity there under the right conditions. In terms of commercial, well, absolutely. Yeah. The security comes from, government subsidy, and there could be something said to that. But the administration of it, and when I say administration, I'm talking about maintenance and making sure that you get some level of decent tenancy is going to be a challenge. Now, in terms of commercial, I think there is definitely opportunity in commercial. In commercial space, I still think that storage facilities would be a good one. I think to look at. I think the mobile home parks again would be another good space to look at. And I don't think office space is where I would want to go right now. I think that given the dynamic of the policies of working from home as a result of COVID and other things, other contagious type situations, I think makes office space a little bit tougher. I'm not saying that it's completely out of the box, but you definitely have to look carefully at what you do with that particular market segment.
What are your thoughts on, and this is something I've had in the back of my mind for a long time, and we've discussed this, office space is a huge gaping hole right now for the companies that are not using the spaces that previously did.
Yeah.
Repurposed multi-unit or commercial space for something that is new.
Yeah.
Whether it be all these different options, there has to be something out there where commercial office space can be used for something new and efficiently. It's out there, and whoever can find this is going to be able to repurpose shopping malls and become the next tycoon. There's a way out there, and there's ideas. I'd love to have just a brainstorming session about this one day, and we talked about doing a brainstorming meetup in Whole.
Yeah.
There's always something. I mean, again, it's fixed, whether it's demolishing and building homes, you never know.
I think that's a tough call. I mean, it's hard to repurpose office space because you're dealing with areas of, within a building, you're dealing with square footage that's for like offices. What do you do with that? And are you going to have a number of people working in those? I think warehouse is a great commercial environment to look into, warehousing for inventory purposes. Distribution in some ways I think would be a way to do it, but there has to be a place for office space. I think that's going to be driven largely by location. An office space in the middle of nowhere is not going to be worth maybe as much as something in a city, but then in a city you've got other challenges. So I'm not sure. We'll have to brainstorm that a little bit and look at what sort of repurposing is available in terms of office space out there. I know the holders of those properties are desperately looking to do something to transfer that negative equity into some positive equity. So they might be open to some type of high level renovation where walls get torn down and space repurposed to use for other things. Now, that said, I think that one of the increases in the market that I've seen, at least, and maybe it's just local to me, but that of makers, local manufacturing is a big thing out there that I've seen, is that people are starting to make products for their local spaces, whether it be for specialization or for something that is standard. That I think that's going to be big because we still have the crunch of the supply chain. And I think we're going to have that for some time. That's not something you can just stop and start up again. Everything is so interdependent on other things, from the manufacturing to the shipping. All of that is an area that I kind of wish that our political infrastructure would focus on, is getting our supply chain fixed. But I think that the Made in America is coming back, and it's going to come back strong in ways that we have not seen before. But we'll see.
I hope so. And that begs back to the original point. Getting involved in something, doing something, becoming part of a group, talking about opportunity is the first step. And when you and I both got into it, we didn't know much of anything. Hell, we still don't know much of anything compared to some people out there. And it's all about education and being around like-minded people. And it is completely life-changing once you have that taste or that bug, just like airplanes, right? When we did our first flight together, you and I, at little Queen City Airport, it was that taste, that sickness. You couldn't get it out of your head. And it is so captivating. And we still have that. We have a passionate love for aviation. But with real estate, if you lose your eyesight, you'll never fly an airplane again. It just won't happen. You can plan for your future with something like this, and getting together with groups, specifically groups like REI Partners and others out there, meetups, just talking, bullshitting, talking about deals, listening, learning, educating everybody. There's unlimited potential here. And I've become so passionate about it. I love talking about it and listening to you and everybody else in the group here. I'm going to just show our YouTube page really quick so people can see.
Yeah, and while you're bringing that up, for anyone listening to this on YouTube, consider reaching out to either Matt or myself to discuss any opportunities that you might have in play if you're a capital investor and you're wanting to learn more about what we do. Please feel free to reach out to us. There's an email on our YouTube channel. You can also go to reipartners.net. You can reach out to us that way. I'll be more than happy to discuss with you various opportunities in your particular area. We do operate mostly in the Northeast, but we're both pilots, so we can go anywhere. And we do our due diligence on every market that we would invest in. And if you have an existing portfolio that you're looking to offload, you're tired of being a landlord, which I imagine there's a lot of them out there, definitely reach out to us, because we can take over that portfolio and manage it for you. Not like a property management company that you may traditionally know, but as partners and helping you manage that property to mutual benefit. So with that said, I'm going to jump off, Matt. I think we've done what we can for this particular meetup at this time. And next month, we're going to have something exciting coming out. We just haven't figured out what that's going to be yet.
It's going to be good. We have a few really awesome things in the works. People are going to get on that'll blow your minds. And you said something I just want to touch on before we end here. If you ever find yourself in a position, I'm just talking not to Richard, but everybody else, you know this. If you find yourself in a position where you have a deal and it's something that you don't think you can do, whether from a capital or a liquid perspective, not being able to purchase it, or you might not be able to manage it or evaluate it, call us. We were talking with one of the guys who is one of the original members of this group years and years ago, just bought his first live-in 2-unit, living for free. He's kicking ass. He's already looking for the next thing. He's walking streets at night, looking for the next opportunity. And he mentioned something the other day about maybe not being able to afford the next one for another few months. Like, dude, if you find the next one, you call. Someone in this group, or this group in particular, will partner with you. We will make it happen, because taking advantage of the opportunities, if the numbers work, that's the game,
Yep.
And I'd rather have a piece of a pie somewhere than sit here and not have a piece in the game, because you have to keep your money working, and sitting in an account just waiting to do something,
you're losing money.
You could be, but you don't want to make a bad deal either. So again, if you have people that investors from across the world, across the states, wherever, that want to put their money to work, call us. We have deals that we can't take care of. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and most of it is not on the market. So that's where we specialize in.
Right. And by the way, I just got a referral from a deal I just did this past weekend, so that's kind of nice.
It's starting to snowball.
Easy money. Yeah. All right. Hey, great, Matt. This has been good, and look forward to the next one.
Yeah, on to the August meetup. We'll stay in touch. Have a good day, man.
Hey, you too, bud.
Later.
Everybody else, later.